First of all, congratulations on scoring a 705. How are you feeling right now?
Thank you. I'm pleased with this score. It's good. It feels good.
Tell us, tell us about, how did you go about, this preparation? What encouraged you to, get into this preparation mode? And why did you want to do an MBA?
Okay, so I think I planned about GMAT in February. I contacted Richa around that time because some of my seniors have pursued top 1% for GMAT. So yeah, at that time I decided, but yeah, I started preparing around June diligently. Before that, it was very fragmented. Yeah, that time I decided.
Wow. So let's have a look at your scores. You got a 98th percentile, quant 94th percentile, you got an 87, verbal 90th percentile, amazing 84, and data insights 97th percentile, score of 84. That's absolutely amazing. And I do also have your previous score, as in what you have taken in the first attempt. You got a 675 earlier and a 705 right now.
Right.
Tell me what was the differentiating factor between these two scores?
The main differentiating factor, if you see, that is in data insights. So during my first attempt, I practiced a lot of sectionals for quant and verbal.
All right.
That thing prepared me for that time pressure during the exam, but I didn't prepare too much about data insights, time to practice, I'm referring here. So that thing I improved in my second attempt.
Tell us about your initial phases of preparation. How did you go about, the pre-work?
Okay, so I registered in February, and then I started studying, but it was very fragmented. I used to study around 2-3 days in a week, and that too not too much, about 2 to 3 hours a day. So that wasn't very good because it was not consistent. So I couldn't recall what I have studied properly. So that was the problem initially. But there was a session in June by Sandeep sir in Bangalore, right?
Yeah.
In that session, he asked all of us a question, like write 3 names that you have people around and who motivates you to study, to achieve what you want, basically. So at that point of time, I realized that I'm surrounded by the people who motivates me. Then also I'm procrastinating, which is wrong, and that motivated me to be consistent in my studies. And then after that session in June, July, and August, I was consistent, and I gave my first attempt in August after that. Talking about my preparation.
Let me just stop you right there. What could be the main reason of that procrastination? Because a lot of students suffer through it. So could you hint on that? Yeah.
There could be many reasons. For me, it was family reasons. I had my brother got married last year, so there were many things going around, and I'm from Agra, so I was consistently between Bangalore and Agra very frequently. So there were many reasons, and there was work also. So there could be.
Was it somehow related to your preparation going in a certain way, and you're also thinking about getting a good score? How are you going to perform in the mocks, or whether I have reached to that level wherein I should start taking mocks? Was it somehow regarding that, or somehow related to that?
I don't think so that in particular, because I knew that once I get focused on it, I will do it. I know. But there was this, I would say it is excuses, the XYZ reasons, which kind of stopped me from being focused and being consistent in my preparation. Uh, Once I started with preparation consistently and I was studying thoroughly daily, it was good. And once you study, you go through the topics, you achieve that confidence, then also it progresses, right? But during the video classes, when video classes were going on, you have to follow that pattern, right, to achieve that consistency and to that confidence. That was something where I lacked.
That was something
Where I lacked, where I fell behind.
Got it. And how did you overcome it? There was a definite motivation by Sandeep sir on the 2nd June event.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how did you carry that motivation forward?
Okay, so yes, initially it was very difficult because you have been working involved in different things. Then you have to obviously figure out how you are going to manage your time about it. So I decided that at this particular time I will sit to study, and after this particular time I will be working on this. So prioritizing things and following that discipline helped me. I daily used to study from 6 to 9 in the morning, and from 10 to 12 at night. So at that time, I decided I won't be doing anything else. I would be doing study only. So I think being in that time frame, after some point of time, you get habitual of it that you have to study that time, and you don't have to fight with your mental issues that I have to do this or that also.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a nice suggestion. And could you also tell me regarding the resources that you have used for let's say, quants?
Okay. For Quant, so Aman, I would tell you one thing that I'm very interested in mathematics. I have that knack for it that I find it really refreshing as well. So when I
Great.
started, yeah, when I started with Quant, I went through the videos that you have made, right? So they were very helpful because it helped me brush out on the basics and then moving on to that complex topics, the topic-wise PDFs, the questions, and there's 700 to 800 PDF, I guess, for quants as well. That and one thing that was very good about the videos and solutions was that they were very thorough, because when you approach a question, you solve it. Then also you have some questions relating to that, because it may be related to that concept, that how it is getting applied or not. So that was very thoroughly covered in all the videos. Whenever I had any query about any question during going through that PDF, I could go and search about that in the video. That was sure it was covered in that video.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I didn't face really problems in quant. That was very smooth.
So let's say step 1 to step 2, from basics to going through those advanced questions that Sandeep sir takes in his classes and the 700 to 800 PDF. How was your transition?
My transition was pretty smooth, because one thing that people face difficulty in quants is engagement with maths. That was not a problem for me. Yeah. And then also, whenever I faced any problem in questions or something, I could really go through the video and clear it out. Or the doubt, you can write a mail, right, to
Yes.
the doubt.
To the
So
doubt, right?
yeah, even that was very helpful, because I really got replies. Got replied once in around 3 minutes. They are super responsive, super responsive.
That was nice. That was nice. And with respect to quants, how many sectional tests you have taken from the portal?
I took all of them.
And how were the questions? How was the level of the questions?
Level of questions, I believe that were on a higher level as compared to the real exam, but at the same time, they prepare you for the worst in the exam, because they prepare your mind that even if something is going wrong through the exam, you do not panic when it is a real exam.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your data insight section and how you manage the data insight section.
Okay, so my first attempt was kind of fell apart.
With respect to preparation, first of all, let's discuss about, with respect to preparation, how did you go about the data insight section?
Okay. So data insights. Firstly, I went through all the videos that Sandeep sir has shared, right? Then there were those PDFs that he has shared for integrated reasoning and data sufficiency. Data sufficiency PDF is very thorough. It covers every type of question that can come, higher level questions, basic questions, everything. So it got me covered through all aspects. And then there were some PDFs for integrated reasoning as well. And then there were sectional mocks, which are very important, because in data insights, I believe that sometimes you can get lost in the question, in like you really want to solve that, like in 10 seconds I might be able to get it, but it might happen that it would take you longer time, and sectional mocks give you just that when you have to leave the question.
Okay.
So that was important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And with respect to the concepts that are checked in the data insights part,
Hmm.
do you think that there is something more to do with respect to the concepts?
I don't really think, because the data insight concepts, they are all, I think, covered in verbal and quant. It's just the focus you have to have on that question. You have to really read that question with every ounce of focus you have at that time, because if you miss it, you won't be able to solve that question in even 5 minutes. That's really important.
Absolutely. I believe it's, when it comes to data insight section, if you're good with critical reasoning concepts, if you're good at comprehending, if you're good with, let's say, ratio, percentage, averages,
Yeah.
You'll be able to sail through provided you have practiced well, because it's a matter of practice. Because if you get stuck on a certain question and you don't know when to move forward,
Yeah, that is the most important thing.
yeah, it
When,
may take a hit on the next set of questions.
right, exactly.
All right. Talking about verbal,
Verbal, so when I started verbal, it was very bad. The initial scores and accuracy was very bad. I won't talk about speed. Then, okay, so I told you, right, my initial phases were very fragmented. So even after the pre-work, I was not at a very good level. And then I started with long sittings. Okay, and when I first set my first long sitting, what happened really was I was so panicked that these are so long passages, I'm not able to get anything, or that I was panicked. I didn't study verbal for 2 days straight after it because I was terrified what will happen. But after that, I started with marathons. The reading comprehension marathon, primary passage and inference. I completed those two marathons in 2 or 3 days, and then I eventually got succeeded in that. The accuracy improved with speed. It was very helpful. The marathon sessions really made up the game for me. They were very helpful. And then my accuracy was around 90 to 95% after.
brilliant.
Yeah, and I think for verbal, you have
Okay.
to practice daily.
Correct. For critical reasoning,
For critical reasoning, it was workable for me, but that long sittings you have, right? The 100 questions in 3 hours, that actually is very helpful because you go through the question types again and again, and it just registers in your mind. So
absolutely.
yeah, and I think for verbal, the only thing that is absolutely important is doing it daily.
Doing it daily would be
Yeah,
your strategy for other students.
yeah.
And how did you rectify your mistakes? For example, you got an inference question wrong in RC.
Hmm.
You're not getting a desired accuracy in bold faces. So how did you rectify on those problems? Because what really happens is most of the students go through concepts, they practice, okay? They also maintain an error log, which is important. But when it comes to rectification or improving on those mistakes, some of the students falter. That's why I'm asking this question. How did you rectify those mistakes?
Okay, so Aman, I believe that when a question has went wrong, the strategy should be why are the other options? The correct option is correct. If you see the correct option first, you have to be get biased towards it. That why is it correct? But what is important is you have to see that why are the other options incorrect. That mainly builds your mindset that how to approach a question. For inference, I think Sir has already emphasized enough that verify and eliminate. So elimination of the wrong choices. This understanding is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point. That's amazing. So your preparation phase, if we were to summarize, it was a little here and there in the first 3 or 4 months, 3 or 4 months. But after June, something changed, and you got consistent.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the exam. The exam day. What happened during that? As in, walk us through your experience in in that exam day.
Okay, so when it was my second attempt, my sequence was verbal, then break, then quant, and then DI.
Double quantity. Okay.
Okay, so
Any reason? Any reason of selecting this in this particular order? Verbal, quant, and DI.
I think, Aman, it is important, really important to find out what sequence works for you. So I have that noted down that I tried out. So there are many mocks on the portal, around 9 mocks. So I tried out what sequence works for me. I had that pros and cons written so that I analyze that which one is good for me. I put verbal first because I realized that I get too involved in quants and DI when it comes. And if I do verbal at the end, I don't have that mental capacity to focus on every question. So I had put that first. That was my reason.
Got it.
So when I started with verbal, the it didn't, as per me at that time, it wasn't going very good. I was really confused between some questions. I was wasting a lot of time on reading the passage. So that's why the long sittings prepare you for the worst that can happen. But yeah, at that time also I didn't panic. I just thought, let it be, whatever happens, we will see. And I'm going to give my best. That's it. And then I took the break. I was really very nervous because in my mind, the verbal has went very bad. And after that, I started with Quant.
Just a second. Just let me stop you right there. So, how was your experience dealing with RC questions, CR questions? How were the passages? How were the paragraphs for CR?
Okay, so CR was not that difficult. I would say one or two questions that happens. RCs were a bit lengthy for me. Even doing after the long sittings, I realized the passages were a bit lengthy, and it took me some time to get a grasp of it. Yeah.
Were you able to apply Octave? Were you
Yes.
write, were you writing something down?
No, I didn't write something down. I hadn't that habit. That's why. Uh, I was able to use Octave, yes. But when you see that long passage, the time is ticking, so that panic comes in. Then you have to control yourself, calm yourself down, and then apply the Octave. That's important, and that's why sectionals prepare you for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was really panicked about RC after it was done. I have that in mind that it hasn't gone well. Then Quant was fine, and then data insights also there were some questions that were just stuck, but then also sectionals helped. I just used the pacing chart. I have that in mind and completed it. And yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
please go.
And I really didn't. I was in the mindset that I'm going to score about 650. It is not going above that, given the experience. But when it was a 705, I was a bit relieved.
How were those MSR questions?
MSR questions were pretty fine, not something out of the box really, mainly about the basic quants and everything. I would say doing sectionals would be enough for that, not something very out of the box.
Were you using, or did you use the sorting feature?
Yeah.
Solving MSR questions.
I did, and even table analysis. There were some questions I did use that, and there were one or two questions that were really stuck. But the right strategy clicked in, just to move on and see what is coming next.
Absolutely. Anything unusual that you faced during the examination with respect to your mock preparation?
Not really. Not really.
All right. All right. What? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for telling us your experience of the examination. What could be the strategy that you would like to give to your fellow aspirants? What would be the sources would you suggest them to focus on?
To focus on, I would suggest the 700 to 800 PDF for RC. That is very helpful. And even if you are having a very good accuracy and speed with verbal, I would really suggest going through the marathon because it will just up your game by a considerable level. That is very important. Even if you have accuracy, you might have some doubts in your mind, some queries in your mind that you're not able to address. The marathon sessions addresses them very thoroughly. So that is very important. And I would really suggest to do every section, some questions of every section every day. Just do not skip the practice because it is very important. It helps you to register that in your mind.
Correct.
Yeah, and doing timed-based practice is very important, I believe, because doing time-based questions, analyzing them, that sets you what is your strengths, weaknesses, how to go about that, how are you improving on. It tells you about that also. So that is very important. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. With respect to quants, with respect to critical reasoning,
critical reasoning, again, I think daily practice is a must for it. And if you are facing any difficulty in any of the topics for critical reasoning, my only suggestion is go through the basics again. Go through the videos also again. Learn how Sandeep sir is approaching the question, how he is eliminating the options or choosing the right answer. That approach is very important. Yeah. And for quants, I would say be thorough with the basics. That is very important. Have an eye on what question is asking, because it might happen that you solved the question correctly, but the question is what is A and you marked the option that what is B. That happens very much of the time.
quite often.
Yeah, and yeah, practice daily. That's it.
Practicing daily being consistent with your preparation, and solving a few questions from every sections.
Yeah,
That would be your strategy. All right.
When you are near your day of the exam, I think giving the mock during the time frame that is your exam time frame, that is important. That helps mind develop into that kind of.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you. And what are your future plans? Are you applying this year? Will you be applying next year?
I plan to apply next year, not this year. I thought that just getting step 1 sorted is good. Then we'll get on to step 2.
All right. Thank you, Sita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, and we would like to hear it from you soon.
Sure. Thank you.
Get into a good school and let us know.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sita. Bye-bye.
Bye.